So, it is my pleasure to accept the award, responsibility and award to be president of the NAPR for the next year. I'm excited, and I just want to remind you guys of a couple of things. If Mike had spoken in 2007 to us, I'm pretty confident that I wouldn't be here. But when he talked about what's the worst possible thing that could happen, this is it. You guys nominated me to be on the board, and in the board's bad judgment, they decided that I should be president. So when you think of Pat with that crazy look on her face, with the gavel, that's what's coming. So Dave Winhold called me about a month ago and asked what my priority was for my presidency. And I, of course, had put no thought into it. I thought for just a few seconds, and I said, Dave, I think my primary objective is going to be the same as every other president before me. He said, oh, cool, glad you put some thought into it. What is that? I said, well, I just don't want things to get screwed up on my watch. Dave's pretty good. He's run some other big organizations and helped them to continue to grow, so he pushed me a little bit to refine my thoughts. And over the last month or so, I've really worked hard to try to come up with some things that we can do in the coming year that will help the entire membership. And that's not an easy task. We've got in-house members, we've got firms, we've got contingent firms, we've got retained firms, we've got big firms, we've got small firms. It is a huge group and very diverse group of people. So finding things that are unifying and that are going to benefit everyone is easier said than done. But I think I've come up with a couple of things that should benefit everyone and should hopefully help everyone to make more money. So those two things are the World Job Bank and our vendor members. So I'll start by talking about the World Job Bank. And for a few of you, this may be repetitive, because I was talking with the board last year about our company's experience with the World Job Bank. And they said, you know, that's a great story. We should do a video and put it up on YouTube and send it to our members, which we did. And I think at last count, I don't know, you guys may know, I think it was like 7 or 8 views, so it was pretty popular. So there may be a few of you who have already heard this story, and if you have, you just have to bear with me for a minute. We joined the NAPR in 2004 for one reason and one reason only, and it's because we were greedy. It was a selfish motivation. We wanted to have access to the World Job Bank. We subscribed to all of the job boards who are in attendance here and some others, but we thought, based on the investment that was required, we didn't have to have a whole lot of success to come out in the black on the deal. So we joined, we got access to the World Job Bank, and 54 placements later, we've proven that that was a pretty good decision. And those of you in the audience may be sitting there saying, 54 placements in 8 years, if I'm an in-house recruiter, how many fees would I have not paid? Or if I'm a firm, multiply it by what you pay, you charge for your clients, and you're kind of doing the math on it. There are probably some of you out here who are also saying, shut up. This is our good little secret going here, right? Because about 1/3 of our membership utilizes the World Job Bank. 1/3, which means 2/3 do not use it. As you saw from the graphic about the NAPR's revenue, the majority of our revenue is derived from the World Job Bank. And the World Job Bank is interesting. And this is, it's interesting because it's a cooperative effort. The more people who subscribe to the World Job Bank, the more money the NAPR has to reinvest in candidate sourcing, driving additional traffic and additional success, right? So a rising tide lifts all ships, which is why I'm bringing this up and not letting this be our dirty little secret any longer. In addition to that, the more people who post jobs, the more traffic it's going to draw from positions, and the more success everybody's going to have. So this is a pretty simple thing. And in the last 90 days or so, last couple of board meetings, we've had some lengthy discussions about why some of our members don't use the World Job Bank. And I'm going to personally contact everyone in this room who does not use the World Job Bank, who is an active member, over the next month or two, or at least try. You can go on my calls. and we're going to talk about it. There are a couple of ideas that we've already put together that we plan to formalize in the next several months. One is the idea of offering a single specialty membership. There are a lot of our members who do only ER staffing, or only anesthesia, or only hospitalist staffing, and if I were you, I probably wouldn't pay for the whole World Job Bank either. So we're going to try to come up with something along those lines, and we're also going to come up with an idea of having job posting access only, because there's been some concern about having access to the CV database and some of the limitations put in place. So we're going to talk with you guys about that, how that pricing would work. But I had NAPR look it up. We've spent $15,000.61 on the NAPR World Job Bank, and we've made 54 placements. So we're not talking about a lot of money. We're talking about an opportunity for you to contribute directly to the success of your companies or your hospitals, and also to contribute to the success of NAPR. And I say all of this as vendor services chair. I'm looking in the audience at some of our job boards who are incredible supporters of our organization. And I want you guys to know that we use all of those job boards as well. We're just attempting to cast a wider net. And we've always used those other job boards, and this is purely supplemental to that. So that gets me to my second point, which is supporting our vendor members. For the last several years, I've coordinated with our vendors getting an audience with our active membership. And in doing so, I've noted that there's been some, I call it vendor fatigue, that some of our vendors have supported the organization so well and so long that people have stopped talking with them at our conferences, assuming I talked to him 8 years ago, and 7 years ago, and 5 years ago, and I also talked to him last year, and I know what New England Journal of Medicine does, or I know what Doc Cafe does. But these guys are crazy, these vendors. It turns out that they tweak what they're doing every now and then. And they add additional services, and they beef up in other areas, and things change from year to year. And if you're not, as an NAPR member, talking with them about the discounts that they offer to NAPR members, which are significant in a lot of cases, and the new services that they're offering, in many cases you're going to be costing yourself money. So that is a very, very important thing for me over the next year, is that we increase the connection between our active membership and our vendor membership. And I've got a couple of ideas that I'm pretty sure we can get done because they're pretty simple. The first is that we're going to create a little logo that says NAPR vendor member, that my hope is each of our NAPR vendor members will proudly place on their emails and their collateral information and their website, so that you as an active member will have no question about whether you're doing business with a company who supports the organization that is important to you. Because that should be important to you. We would not be in this room, as Ann said, or at least not the cost that we're in it, for the amount of money that we've spent without the help of our vendor partners. The second thing is a little bit harder to do, but I was talking yesterday with a first-time attendee to the conference, and we were in the new member reception, or first-timer reception, and I said, "Why'd you join?" And she said, "Well, I called one of my clients," and she said, "I won't work with you unless you're an NAPR member." I said, "God bless that woman." Whoever it was, God bless you. Because that's the kind of thing that we need to continue to advance the NAPR. If you're an in-house recruiter, and you're an NAPR member, work only with NAPR member firms. Let that be known right from the outset. Let there be no confusion about the companies that you choose to align yourself with. Those who do business ethically, those who commit to education, and those who commit to furthering the causes of the NAPR. If you are a recruiter, I feel it is your responsibility to talk with your clients about the same thing I just talked about, which is having them work exclusively with NAPR members. Because you're doing yourself a favor, first of all, because only about 1/3 of all physician recruiting companies are members of the NAPR, so you've wiped out 2/3 of your competition by saying one thing, which is not salesy or anything else, right? But in addition to that, as a firm, we feel like it's your responsibility to continue to give back to the organization. If you can't volunteer on a committee, if you can't spend your time on the board, please at least talk actively about the NAPR when you're out in the market. The work that the NAPR and our vendor members are doing is significant. This is big stuff. Never in a time that I can remember has healthcare been so front and center in the media. It is like every day somebody's saying something about it. Now I tell people I recruit doctors, they're like, oh, what do you think about healthcare reform? People I used to tell, I recruit doctors, they'd say, what? Doctors? Just go out and go to medical school and then they go practice. I know, they take jobs just like normal business people. So the work that we're doing to place physicians in communities that don't have access to physicians, or to place physicians to decrease the wait times and increase the access for other patients, is significant and it's important. And everyone working together through the World Job Bank, through supporting our vendor members, and through carrying on the big and important work that we're doing as NAPR members, working together is very, very important. So, anyway, we've carved out some time that we'd like to have the vendor members come up here, please, and spend